This session is a presentation to explain the theory of risk assessment and insurance. It is designed to give an introduction to the concepts of probability, microeconomics of insurance, risk aversion, information asymmetry, adverse selection, moral hazard, and J-curve. Risk is an uncertain event that can lead to monetary loss. However, it is not the same as uncertainty because the possible consequences of an event are known to us. We just do not know which of these consequences will come to pass. For example, take the case of two brothers, Max and Chris. A person can either be sick or not sick. We know that there are 4 possible consequences. Both are sick, only Max is sick, only Chris is sick. Both are not sick. But at any time, we cannot be certain which of these 4 consequences will take place. There is always a risk of them falling sick, in which case the treatment will cause them to spend money. To understand better, we look at this slide. Risk is the uncertainty of not knowing whether a particular incident will happen or not, when it will happen if it does, and how much money it will cost if it does happen. We take 3 examples, those of health, maternity, and death. For health, I do not know if I will fall sick at any given time. I cannot predict when I can fall sick. I do not know how much money I will have to spend if I do fall sick. For maternity, an expecting mother knows that she will deliver and the time of delivery, but she does not know yet whether she will have a normal delivery or not, or whether there will be other medical complications, which will cost her money. For death, everyone knows they will die, but no one knows when.
So we can categorize these risks on the basis of how many people it affects. So we have the covariant risk, which affects a large share of the population, which are very interrelated. And we have the idiosyncratic risk, which affects a small segment of the population. But we can also do another categorization if we take into account the financial consequences of this risk. So we have the minor risk, which are very likely to happen, but the unit costs of this risk are very small. And we have, so for example, consultation, minor disease, and we have the major risk, which are far less likely to happen, but they will entail a considerable financial burden. We have also the catastrophic risk, so these are the worst because they affect a large segment of the population and the cost is very, very high. And this risk I will be quite quick on this. You can see that this risk can come from various sources, either natural or human-made. So now this risk can have very diverse and very hard to predict sometimes consequences. So let's take a motorcycle accident, for example. So this accident, you can just end up with a minor, for example, you just get a burn, so you will have to go to the hospital and it will be just a small healthcare cost. But you can also become temporarily or permanently disabled, and then you will have to take a sick leave or you will not be able to work anymore. So then you have the healthcare cost, which is greater, and you will have a loss of income because you're not working anymore. And then you can also die from this accident, so be careful with the motor taxi in Bangkok. And then there will be consequences not only for you, but also for your survivors, your wife, your husband, or your children, who will also bear the consequences of this accident. So we can see that the consequences can be very diverse. Now, how can we manage risk? So there is a concept which is called risk management. So it's this whole process. So let's say that you are sick. For example, I take myself. I know that I have some risk. I have a risk of getting diabetes, to have a heart attack or cancer. So this is the identification of all the risks that I can have. I have more risk than this. Then I will assess this risk. So I would say, for example, that I'm very likely to get diabetes because of my family background and because I eat a lot of cheese as a French. So this is the assessment, and then I will try to prioritize this risk, looking into the financial consequences. There will be the worst risk. And okay, so this is prioritization. And then I will try to respond to this risk. That is to say that I will apply my resources to try to minimize this risk. So for example, I know that I'm very, very likely to get diabetes. Maybe I will just try to eat less cheese. And then monitoring. So maybe I will have some blood analysis every year to check that I'm good. So, okay, this is very simple, but just to show you a bit what is this process. And we have then three major risk management strategies, which occur at different times. So prevention. Prevention is preventing the risk from occurring. So it's before the risk occurs, you will try to prevent it from occurring, and it's different. It differs from mitigation, because in mitigation, you're not trying to prevent the risk from occurring, you're trying to decrease the potential impact of this risk. So this is what we will speak about this later, but this is what insurance does. Insurance does not help you not to get sick, but it will help you to decrease the financial impact of the sickness. And then you have coping, which is basically you're just trying to deal with this risk after it happens. Am I clear? Okay, so you have various actors in this risk management. So let's say that you are sick, you can rely first on yourself, on your job, your salary. You will go to the hospital and you can pay for it. You can rely on your family, your social network. You can also go to the market and buy personal insurance. But sometimes these actors are not sufficient, and you will have to, they are not enough to satisfy your needs. So maybe you will join membership institutions. By membership institutions, we mean institution that you can join and from which you can resign. Let's say a trade union, for example, or to public authorities. And this Robin will